All right, let's dive right in and talk about a really painful paradox. The very thing that made you a top producer, your personal brand, your charisma, that whole hero broker identity. Well, that might be the exact thing that's holding your business captive right now. It's like you're incredibly successful, but you're also trapped. So today, we're going to get into exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how you can break free. Look, this statement is meant to be a little provocative, right? But it hits home because it's so true. Think about it. If your entire business crumbles the second you take your face off the flyer, you haven't really built an asset. What you've built is a very high-paying job, a job you can never, ever leave.
Now, I want to be super clear here. This is not a personal failure. Not at all. In fact, it's a completely predictable outcome of being amazing at what you do. You've built what we call a golden cage, a business that brings in massive revenue, but is 100% dependent on you. Let's diagnose what that really means.
And think about that phrase for a second. A cage of your own making. When you rely entirely on your personality, your personal brand, to attract every single client, you're creating a huge vulnerability in your business. It means that every single dollar you earn requires your direct manual labor. So there's a technical term for this whole situation. It's called a single point of failure. And in this business model, that single point of failure is you. If you get sick, if you want to go on vacation, or hey, even if you just want to step back and work on the business instead of in it, what happens? The whole lead generation engine just stops. The entire structure is incredibly fragile. And here's the real kicker. That fragility, it's not free. It comes with a cost, a hidden price tag we call the fragility tax. It's that burnout you're probably feeling from having to be on all the time. And, just as importantly, it's the lower valuation, the suppressed cap rate your firm would get if you ever tried to sell it. It's a tax on your energy and on your equity.
Okay, so how do we escape this cage? How do we stop paying this tax? Well, the answer is a pretty fundamental paradigm shift. We have to move away from the personal brand and toward an institutional platform. It's all about putting the entity over the ego.
This slide just lays it all out, crystal clear. The old model, over on the left, it sells me, my experience, my charisma. It's fragile, and it creates loyalty to a person, to a relationship. But the new model on the right, it sells us. It sells our firm's proprietary data, our proven system. It's durable, it's scalable, and it creates loyalty to the results. That's a game changer. So to make this shift happen, we need a filter, right? A simple but really powerful test that every single piece of your marketing, and I mean everything, has to pass. We call it the founder absence test. This is it. This is the whole test. I want you to look at your website, your pitch deck, your email signature, everything. If you took your name and your face completely out of the equation, is there anything left for a client to actually buy? If the answer is no, you're still just selling yourself, not the firm. Every single asset has to pass this test if you want to build a durable, sellable company. All right, so we've covered the why. That's the big picture. Now let's get tactical and talk about the how. We're going to operationalize this with a super simple 3-step audit that you can literally do the second this explainer is over.
It really is this simple. First, you just audit your main public-facing assets. Your website, LinkedIn, email signatures are the big ones. Second, you go on a hunt. Find every single instance of I or me and every dominant personal headshot. And third, you perform what we call the pronoun pivot. You swap out that personal language for institutional language. You're not just changing a few words here. You're fundamentally changing the value proposition from an individual to a powerful collective.
And here's what that shift actually looks like in practice. On the left, it's all about the hero, right? It's all about I. But on the right, it's about the machine. I have closed becomes our platform is executed. My expertise becomes our proprietary process. See how that small change in language signals a massive increase in institutional depth and capacity? It's huge. All right, let's get real for a second. Institutional brands outlive their founders. Why? Because they represent an uncompromising standard, not just a person. If you're still slapping your face on every flyer and using I in every pitch, you're not building a firm, you're protecting your ego. So it's time to look objectively at your brand architecture. At the end of the day, it all comes down to asking yourself 3 really tough, high-stakes questions. First, the absence test. If you were just erased from all your marketing tomorrow, would your platform still generate leads? Be honest. Second, the autonomy check. Does your brand actually empower your team to sell, or are they really just selling you? And third, the asset validation. Are you building durable equity in a real asset, or are you just subsidizing a fragile, unscalable operation?
The path forward from here is really clear. It's time to stop selling your personality and start selling a predictable, powerful system. So pivot the brand away from yourself. Sell the incredible results that your system produces, and build a platform that is designed to outlast you.